When we're living in struggle, sometimes it's helpful to find individuals who have gone through it, found their way back, and started to rebuild. My name is Michael Santos. I'm with prisonprofessors.com and also compliancemitigation.com, and I was incarcerated for 26 years. When I was incarcerated, I was always looking for pathways that would help me prepare for success and help me emerge from the prison experience in a manner with my dignity intact and with opportunities to rebuild. That's what I think everybody who's going into the system needs to be thinking about. How do I rebuild? How do I get my life back on track so I'm living with confidence and with an ability to move forward? Today is January the 23rd. It is now 5:21 in the morning, and I've been making these videos every single day because they are part of my book, one of the books. This is the Earning Freedom Daily Journal, and I created this book specifically for people who are self-directed, individuals who know they're living in a difficult situation, but they don't always want to be in a difficult situation. They want to start focusing on what can they do today to begin positioning themselves for a better life tomorrow. And every one of these pages gives a series of lessons and open-ended questions and exercises that we hope will help a person develop stronger critical thinking skills so that they can overcome the challenges of being incarcerated, but then come back home and overcome the challenges that they're going to confront when they're back in society. And once a person comes into the system, they have to kind of anticipate and expect there are always going to be challenges ahead. And that's the reason that I make these videos. I like to show people inside how to begin thinking and developing those critical thinking skills so they're never wasting time, but instead they're always thinking about what do I have to do today to position myself for success in the weeks, months, decades ahead. And that requires somebody to think forward. And that's why I'm going to move my screen up to the top and kind of show you how I start every morning, right? Every morning. I've been working at this desk already for longer than an hour and a half. You can always look on the top. I think I got a point over my left shoulder. You see the little clock that it says right now 5:23 in the morning on January the 23rd. I think it's a Saturday morning, but I really don't know because I work 7 days a week and I work from home, so all the days kind of blend in together. But what I do, the first thing that I do is I try to stay organized, and that requires me to go into this thing here is called the Finder window on my Mac. And I go to a hard drive and I go to this daily journal when I'm ready to, and you'll see that I have a template right there. That's what you see on the screen right below me. This is a template that I use to just speed things up. You'll see that I have the brands of my two companies there. This is Compliance Mitigation, the one I am building right now, and it's what I'm going to be telling you I'll be working on today. And then there's Prison Professors. This is a program I launched. Really, it's when I started right after I got out of prison in August of 2000. Well, really, I started building it when I was in prison, and when I came home, I was in the halfway house. I really started to develop these courses, these digital courses that would teach and inspire people who were going into the system. And so what I do now is I just come down, and the first thing I have to do in this template is change the date. This is an older template. It says January the 13th. Today is actually January the 23rd. So I just type the 23rd right there, and now it's ready to go. So when I finish this video, I'll just have to plug it in there, and all the branding will already be there. The information, the contact information in case somebody wants to contact our team is going to be in there. And then I can just scroll it down and show you this is what I was planning to talk about today. And what I'm talking about today is this is what a typical daily journal page looks like. It's always got an annotation there about what we're going to discuss. And then if I scroll down, just in case somebody doesn't have access to the book itself, you can read it for free. I give away more content than I sell. And it's because I want people to learn from these lessons. I want people to learn that they can make decisions today that'll put them into a pathway of success. And all of these are tools that I use to open new relationships. When I came out of prison, I was able to sit across the table from a probation officer or from the case managers inside of the halfway house and start laying out for them the plan on how I was going to succeed. But because I had showed them how well I had documented my journey, more opportunities opened for me. I was more successful in persuading them to grant me higher levels of liberty. And so that's why I encourage people who are working through this course to use these same types of open-ended questions to develop their critical thinking skills. What unexpected changes have you encountered? In what ways did you adjust to the change? In what ways does your adjustment or changed circumstances reveal your commitment to success? In what ways does your response to changed circumstances align with the way that you define success? All of these are the types of questions that you can answer in a couple of sentences or in a couple of pages. But the more work you do on yourself, the more effective you're going to be in persuading other people to open doors for you or to open opportunities for you. And so every day there are a series of these questions that I think will be really helpful. And there's always this annotation that kind of gives a summary of what we're gonna learn today in this path, and says life doesn't always go our way. We create plans. We can engineer those plans well with the best intentions. They can be strategic and deliberate. Then external forces can change the environment. And when those changes come, we are responsible for how we respond. We can complain with the "it's not my fault" mentality, or we can adjust and exceed despite the changes we encounter. My advice is to be as deliberate as you possibly can be. And that's why I'll show you how I do that today. Let me pull back up the Finder here. And this is kind of how I plan my work. This is where I have to store all of my information. So a lot of the bigger files I will store on hard drives. That's what these are right here. Here is where is my cloud-based system. I use everything on Mac, because when I was in prison, of course, the computer industry began, and I didn't know, but I'd heard that Macs were more intuitive and easier to learn. So everything I have is on a Mac. My iPhone, my Apple laptops, these bigger computers, everything's on a Mac. And I learned how to use them. And I learned one of the painful lessons that I learned was the importance of good organizational skills and storing my files in the right place, because I have a lot of files. I have business development files, and then all of these open to more projects, right? So there's just a massive amount of content. There's no way I would be able to find all of this work if I were not organized. So today, what I'm going to be working on is my newest company, Compliance Mitigation, and I'm building something to prepare for that type of challenges in the workforce and what goes on in the workforce. And that would be my HR. I'm going to be working on HR today, because there are just so many complications when it comes to human resources. I didn't really realize that until I was working with some other people on our team, and we were working on this employee handbook project. And let me see if I can pull it up for you right here. I will find the most recent version. I think this is it right here. And if I load this up, the most recent version, you can see how extensive it is. All right, and this is still a working document. It's all written in a word processing document, but it was creating this process that really reveals all of my different companies and the way that I create jobs for formerly incarcerated people, the way that I explain how our business is structured and organized. And it's rather an extensive document. I think this document here, it's 41 pages long. You can see there on the bottom. It shows you that it's 11,000 words. But if I just scroll down, you could just see how comprehensive it is. And the reason it's so comprehensive is because I have to show every element of my company. And every element, and the reason that I have to do that is because sometimes circumstances change in the world. And one of the ways that things change is if I'm employing people, I have to have everything really well documented. But there are just enormous bureaucratic challenges in trying to provide jobs for people, especially for a business like mine, where I hire people on our team from all over the country. And so I either have to make a decision. Do I want to create an HR policy for every state because it's state law that governs employment, or do I want to come up with a more effective manner for a company like mine, which uses really independent thinkers. And, I work from home, and everybody that works with me works from home, but I don't set their hours. I don't provide them with office space or with computers or anything along those lines. I allow them to do all of that because we're all kind of have to reinvent ourselves when we're building a career after imprisonment. And all of these kinds of things, it looks like I'm working for the U.S. military or something. It's so deliberate. It's so extensive with employment classifications and job descriptions and who's a non-exempt, full-time, part-time, temporary. You've got to have workers' compensation plans. You've got to have all these things. And, if you don't get it just right, an employer, somebody who's just trying to create jobs and build a successful life, can find himself in the crosshairs of a problem. And so I'm, just going to have a conversation with you now. So one of the things that I'm doing today is going to be to revise this very extensive employee handbook that I created, because I want to make it easier for the people that come out of prison and want to have a job with me. And the only kinds of jobs, sadly, I can create are for people that have a really advanced skill set. So they've got to be really good writers or maybe be a professional of some sorts, because the businesses that hire us are looking for what's called subject matter experts. And I've shown how a person can become a subject matter expert. Then we take the knowledge base we have and we help business leaders and business owners understand, how do I create compliance tools and training mechanisms that will lessen the likelihood of a government investigation. So it's a lot of work, and I have to depend on a big team to help me with this work. But I also have to solve the complication of, well, how am I going to classify this team? Either I could hire them as W-2 employees, which means I pay their payroll taxes and so on and so forth. Or I could say, hey, why don't you become independent, start your own venture, and I'll do contract work with you. So like this job is going to be worth, $5,000 or $3,000 or $15,000 or whatever. And we sign a contract. They've got to deliver, but they deliver on their own time. And they've got to be self-directed. That's why I really encourage you, learn how to be self-directed right now. Learn how to be the CEO of your own life. You can get this book if you want the guide. Just scroll down into my comment section and you can see the links there, or you could on the YouTube channel, I think it's over here, the banner of the YouTube channel. You'll see resources or something like that, and you can download a direct link to Prison Professors, or you can connect with a direct member of our team, or you can just visit our store at prisonprofessors.com, and you will get this type of information that will help you or your loved one position yourself for success, even if you're living in struggle. I am Michael Santos. If you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel yet, I do hope that you will subscribe and ring the bell so you're aware of just how hard you have to work to overcome the challenges of a criminal charge. Please subscribe. Visit us at Prison Professors or Compliance Mitigation if you want to see the new business as I am developing it. We're 100% authentic. I would never ask you to do anything that I didn't do while I was in prison. And I believe in you, but you've got to believe in yourself, and you've got to know that no one is going to work harder for your success than you. Thanks.